Hello, my lovely listeners. I have been listening to a lot of manifestation content, and I wanted to, as a research and as also for myself, and I wanted to summarize for you and for myself different techniques or approaches, as many as I can remember. So, one of them is that I manifest and I think about it and I feel it and I see it and I meditate on it, and I create it. So by I create it, it means it's not really here now in my life. So I create it and it appears and it's there. I am creator and I am manifester who makes it happen. So that's one approach, and I make it happen by creating it, by feeling it, by experiencing it in my mind, because the mind also doesn't know what's true and what's not true. If you see it with your eyes of imagination, you create it. So for example, for me, it was many times when I was told I live in Delulu, or when people say, be in Delulu, be Delulu, think about things that maybe are not like others. If others look at those things, they would be like, that's never going to happen. This is not possible. The thing of possibility, the things of this is not achievable. You are not at this point. How can you go from 0 to 10? So I create it. I think about it enough. And also action with this. So it's not only thinking, but it's also action. So Aaron Doughty, my favorite, he always says, is not enough if you just sit there on the sofa and think, I don't know, I want to have a big business or 1,000 followers or people listening to my podcast in my case, or I don't know, achieve a degree or go somewhere or travel or meet someone, right? You manifest it and you think about it. So you truly just visualize it, and exactly with every detail. And then on top of that, or simultaneously, you do things slowly, whatever things that could be. So you learn, you are curious, you post online. If it is, for me, it's just very close to my heart, so I post online. And I don't really know what other I am so much into my manifestation that it's kind of hard to imagine what else you wouldn't want. Okay, so let's say you want to be healthy, you want to have a really healthy body. So you start walking, or you start exercising, or looking at your food that you take, like really looking, like assessing every item. Even look at packaging of how many calories, how many fat it has got, like in a healthy way, not in an obsessive way. But you don't put in your body just whatever there is around. You actually taking action. Or you want to cut alcohol, so then what you do, there is a plan, right? You used to drink, I don't know, a bottle of wine, and now you have a glass. You start with two glasses instead of the whole bottle. Maybe that's not a great example, but you just taking some actions. Or you would like to read a book a month, so you start with reading 1 page. It's not enough if you just visualize reading this book, but it definitely helps, because then it rewires you on a different trajectory, and it actually makes things happen. So you create those things in your head by thinking, believing, and also taking action. And very much we stop ourselves with thinking about the whole action instead of breaking it into very small, the smallest pieces, the smallest chunks. Right, I was on this course the other day, and I don't remember what it was about, but basically it was about eating elephant and how do you eat the elephant, and obviously the answers were bite by bite or little by little, and that wasn't that wasn't maybe a great example, but you know what I mean. Like, if there is a big, huge action or huge dream, you take it a little by little, while also imagining this. And why is it so important that you imagine this in every detail? Because that's how it's being created. Like a house, you go brick by brick, right? You got wall by wall and room by room, and that's how you create it. And so with this is also patience. And so that's kind of one of the approaches, that you create your reality by believing, taking actions, thinking, visualizing, all of those things, feeling it, experiencing this as if it was already there. So in a way, it kind of assumes that, and I don't really want to say that, because then I want to segue to another approach and believe that this reality is already there. And I don't know if how creating it and then this being it already there, somehow it does, to me, it feels like those two approaches are very similar. Because the other approach is that the reality that you would like already exists in another timeline or with another version of you, and this another version of you already exists. And I really feel into that, and what it the reflection I have is about actually AI. If we think like this, the AI that's already there, it already existed. It's not something that happened to be invented or happened to be created. It already existed in another timeline, and we all jumped into this timeline. And this it's like this with every invention. It's being planted, but by someone, and then people kind of build on top of that. But there is a reality, there is a timeline when this already exists, and that's very esoteric, and that's kind of bringing into Matrix and things like that. But it's like, it's a very common sort of saying of I've become another person. I've become someone new. I've changed so much. And this is about jumping onto another timeline. As someone says, everything has changed. Everything has changed because you've jumped to another timeline, and this timeline has been running simultaneously, has been somewhere else in the cosmos, but it's been going on. And there was like a bridge from one timeline to another timeline, and we very often just cross this bridge, cross it by something happens, or people say I've woken up, I've changed. And very often it's not very comfortable happening. Is something that is drastic, that is taking us over. And we want this. If I am manifesting, I can believe and I can see this other timeline, and in the same time I am creating this. So what I was talking about, creation, belief, visualization, action also. But I also believe that it already exists, and this makes it easier for me, because if I know that it already exists, then it's easier to manifest it. It's easier to go into there. So there are kind of sort of, when I was listening or researching or looking at those people who are talking about this, it kind of is a separate thing, but it's also sort of together, the creation and then the feeling that it's already there, and I can sense myself sometimes kind of going back and forth, like I am in this other reality, but I'm also, something sort of pulls me back as if I wasn't there fully. And I know what this something is basically a fear. So it's like going back and forth a little bit. I can see this other reality, but it's as if I couldn't take the full step out there, which is fine. I mean, it's all experiencing, and is a journey, and is a reflection for me. So the more I am sensing it, the more I am trying to look into that, the more I am seeing, and then also the more I am seeing that I don't see, that I cannot see that for whatever reason. So it's all the reflection, and it's about expanding also. So maybe when I expand and I go out and out from my comfort zone, that's when I reach this point of no return and jumping to another reality. There is definitely also a thing about being comfortable in what you are now, really, even if it's painful, even if it's not ideal. There is kind of the fear, or stepping over, is this like as if there were two lands and you have two masses of lands, and there was a big gap between them, like a really deep gap, and you have to cross it, and you have to look down into a nothingness between them, because that's maybe how you see it, or that's how I see it, like nothingness. So taking this big step is scary, and that's why it's so important to imagine this this other reality with a very clear mind. And I know a lot of people are describing how they've done it, and when you look at them, it just seems so easy. But yes, when you are where you are, from your perspective, it's still kind of requires a lot of I wanted to say discipline, but just a lot of reflection and a lot of sensing. And every one of us lives through this in a different way. I am talking about how I experience this, and I hope it resonates with you. You can sort of see it the same or similar way. And then the other part of manifestation was about how you manifest. So I was listening to this guy, and he was basically saying, I want to manifest a lot of money because I want to travel with my family, because I want to be with my family and experience love and experience closeness. So then he said that he was imagining this in details. They were traveling to wherever, to India, and then the next day, in 24 hours, his family reached out and they said they're taking the trip to wherever, somewhere else in Chicago to visit grandma. And he realized that he wasn't really craving the money. He was craving the time with his family. He wanting the time with the family. So this is the like a big area of manifesting money, manifesting millions. And a lot of people talks about what this really means to you. So manifesting money as a money. The money is the freedom, the money is the house, the travels, the experiences that you buy with money. And then another level of that is money is energy. And we see this energy as enabler, as options for us to being able to be free, basically free, and being able to give and receive and yes, and experience the world in a really deep meaningful way, while also feeling safety and feeling cared for, and feeling that you can experience this beauty. So money brings freedom, brings experience, brings options, brings health very often, right? The way that you eat, that you nourish yourself, that you love yourself. But obviously all those things, the real things like love, and like love is the main, love is basically on the top, love is everything. This is not something that can be that can be taken with money, right? So these are these things, like to imagine what you want to, how you want to feel, what you want to experience, just as a feeling, as an experience, while letting the money as an energy just kind of go through, and maybe not make it the main focus. Is concentrating on those feelings and their experiences, and then believing and trusting that that's what's going to happen, and the money is kind of the side of this, because money by itself, money, it's not worth anything. We gave it worth, we gave it meaning. That's the currency, right? The currency, the current things that are moving, and we make it that this building or this thing is worth this and this much money. And it was interesting, just as a sideways, like that was money or currency or worthiness of an object was then backed by gold, solid gold. And while and someone said also gold, because this is of a scarcity of gold, that's why gold is so is worth a lot. Like now, for example, at the moment, prices of gold are skyrocketing, and the same with silver. And there were other things that were thought that were scarce, like for example tulips. At some point a long time ago, you can research that. So we gave it meaning, and we make it worth. By we, I mean people, humans. We gave it, and that's how world is running. But really, what our currency is our feelings, is how we feel and how we experience the world. So that's on a side note. And I am saying that because sometimes I can kind of focus on money as well. And I am just thinking, is that kind of like a main focus, or it should be, which it's not. The main thing is your experiences, how you're feeling, what you are in your mind, and how balanced you are, how centered you are, where do you take the safety from, and also other people around you, who you are surrounded by. So that was another thing. I don't know why it brings actually some sort of I guess fear now in me, but anyway. And then just on the last note, just the last thing is about, let's say you jump the realities, you are where you are wanted to be, you're doing what you were wanting to do, and then did it change who you were deeply, or does it take all the things that you were working with, your insecurities, your limitations, your thinking about the world, let's say patriarchy, right? Does it take it with you to this new place? And for me, it shows as I have this deep feeling of a man taking care of me. And then when I was, and I am still manifesting a partner, I am thinking about this, and I am reflecting on, I am manifesting a partner from the basis of he's going to take care of me. If something happens to me, I can fall onto this man. There's always more strength in two people when one is supporting the other and the other is supporting the one. While if I am by myself, if I am the one person supporting my sort of living, and I am reflecting on that, and I am thinking about yes, falling onto the man who is the supporter while I am flourishing beside him. And this is it brings a lot of reflection, a lot of especially in face of all the talks about the masculinity, femininity going on in the world. It brings a lot of reflections and a lot of thoughts for me about how do I manifest, why do I manifest the man. And the main point for me comes from the fact that I would like to have a partner in life, and then I would like to make a peace with the fact that I would like to be supported, and that because I am fragile and I am a woman, and I am fragile, I am also strong, but being with the partner, it's my life path. And that's where I would like to come from. But there is a lot of thinking about this and a lot of kind of deeper reflection, so I thought I'd just bring this on today. So I hope this resonated with you. If it did, please give it a like. I also have a link to founding page, so if it resonated with you, if you liked it, feel free to donate, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.